Hello and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a TV review. We're going to be having a look at Spartacus, episode 1 of the 3rd season. So the 3rd season is subtitled War of the Damned, and the first shot you'll see of Spartacus is a honking massive battle. And the first thing will come to your mind is this. Obviously, the scale of it is far bigger than previous seasons. So it's been an amount of time since the last episode, and Spartacus' army has grown considerably into the many thousands. And as I say, the first sort of scenes you'll see are a much larger scale attack, always bloody as it always is with Spartacus. And essentially, it's setting up the rest of the season, which will I believe is going to be the last series. So essentially, now the Spartacus' army is becoming much more of a larger threat to Rome. As he has such a large, essentially, army now, and it sets up the main antagonist, Marcus Crassus. Now he looks to be a lot less of a bureaucrat than previous enemies of Spartacus. He has a lot more respect for the gladiators, and he doesn't necessarily sort of look down on them quite as much as other guys. And he's obviously a Roman, so that's where his allegiance lies. But he sees this as a sort of an attempt to sort of gain sort of favour within the Senate and what have you, and up his profile. But he looks to be a lot more of a physical threat as well. You'll see him essentially sparring with a champion gladiator that he actually defeats at the end of the episode, proving he is physically capable of himself fighting. And as I say, he's a lot more in tune with the way the slaves are thinking. So he's going to look to be an interesting opponent. So that's kind of the story is really setting up essentially him for the rest of the season, and it's also sort of showing you where Spartacus is sort of guys are where they are now. So the problems he's going to be facing is that he has such a large contingent of people following him now. His people are starving, they're poorly clothed, there's less housing. So that's obviously the way the story is going to evolve with those guys. Now, in this episode, essentially, they're kind of taking on two sort of generals of the Roman army who are sort of attempting to sort of take him out, and it's essentially an assault on a villa with just Spartacus, Crixus, and Gannicus. So this action is very good. If you've seen Spartacus before, it's very over the top, very much in this of the same style as 300. People just seem to be literally water balloons filled with blood as they get hit with swords and explode into bloody chunks. And of course, with Spartacus wouldn't be Spartacus if there wasn't some boobs and some sex scenes in there as well. So it's pretty graphic. If you're a little bit squeamish, even though it is over stylized, it's maybe a little bit off-putting for if you're a particularly squeamish person. Now this program is pure testosterone. It is absolutely the most manly series of that's out there. But for you ladies, there's plenty of buff men to look at as well. All guys. So I enjoyed it. I never really liked Liam McIntyre as much as Andy Whitfield as Spartacus, but unfortunately that can't be helped. What I did like about him this time though is he's a lot more dirty. One of the issues I had with him, is only a minor nitpick, is that Liam McIntyre's Spartacus had like a military sort of flat top, which was kind of obviously clippered and stuff like that. And obviously they don't have that back then. So, but these days now he's a lot more seems to be caked in grime and stuff, and his kind of hair's grown out a bit. Crixus is sporting a big beard and kind of long hair, so they're looking a lot more grubby and a lot more sort of like they've been living in squalor for so long. So that was one of the issues I had with the previous season, a minor one albeit, but it's very much in keeping with what you've seen previously. I wouldn't say it really adds anything different. I think the main thing would, if I had to say something, is obviously that the new Marcus Crassus character is going to be an interesting person to watch. I mean, I always loved Batiatus in the first season. He was probably my favourite character overall. But Marcus Crassus looks like he may be a good replacement for that. So it's looking good for the first season, for the first episode of this season, sorry. I'm looking forward to the next one. I'd certainly give this probably an 8 out of 10 so far. So I'll review the next episode when it's up. See you next time.